it was a very interesting visit, and each European head of state, each head of state around the world had to make their own judgment about how to deal with Trump. And Rutte was, I thought, straightforward in his approach and surprised Trump a little bit.
And if we do work it out, that'll be positive. And if we don't, it'll be positive also, because
no,
we'll just think about those cars that pour in here and we'll do something, right?
We have to work.
But it'll be positive.
I was standing behind Trump, so I didn't see what it looked like from the front. But I can tell you what my impression is today, which is he just ignored it and maybe didn't even hear it. Because he was talking, so what else is going on when he's talking?
Volgens Bolton maakte dat moment in de Oval Office dus helemaal niet zoveel indruk op Trump. Maar er waren meer van dat soort momenten. En in internationale media wordt Rutte zelfs wel eens de Trump Whisperer genoemd. De Trump-fluisteraar. Dat is niet handig, zegt Bolton.
I would be careful of that descriptor, because it may raise the bar too high for Rutte or anybody else to deal with. My assessment is that the most successful foreign leader in dealing with Trump was Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister of Japan. Abe pursued a very rigorous course of staying in touch with Trump, talking to him all the time, particularly in advance of meetings with Kim Jong-un to press Japan's case. He played golf with him, and he was persistent and determined to make Japan's case, which I thought showed his discipline, really, and his willingness to put up with Trump and long conversations that wouldn't have taken place with other foreign leaders. It's hard to put up with the noise, but particularly in a position, not being a head of government, as Rutte was as prime minister, but as secretary general of the alliance, that's what I would recommend. Does he play golf?
I don't think
so, no.
Better learn.
Oefenen op die handicap dus. Maar, pas op, Rutte krijgt een moeilijke taak als Trump president zou worden, waarschuwt Bolton. Nog een serieuze tip aan Rutte dus. Overtuig NAVO-leden dat Trump het meent als hij zegt dat hij uit de NAVO wil stappen. En probeer Trump af te leiden.
He needs to listen to what Trump says and try and respond to it and to explain to other NATO members that this is serious. A lot rides on the Secretary General's performance, and if ways can be found to distract Trump or point him in other directions so that he never gets around to withdrawing from NATO in a second term, that would be a great victory.
Can you give an example? How do you distract Trump?
Just point him in the direction of something else that will irritate him. I wrote an editorial in the op-ed in the Wall Street Journal a couple of months ago where I said he should pick on the United Nations, where there are plenty of programs to defund. The more Trump could be turned away from NATO because of other targets that he would be interested in, the more likely we could get through 4 years without him withdrawing.
Rutte zou daarnaast duidelijk moeten uitleggen aan Trump waarom Amerika in de NAVO moet blijven. Want, zo zegt Bolton, Trump weet een stuk minder dan je denkt.
Well, I think in Trump's case, explaining to him the benefit of NATO to the United States. Now, you may say, well, why is that the job of the Secretary General? Surely the President of the United States ought to understand that. But there are a lot of things that Trump doesn't understand. And I think every time that the benefits of collective defense have for the United States can be explained to him, that's a good thing. I will say the fact that NATO voted to come to the aid of the United States after 9/11, he's been told about 10,000 times. So the utility of saying that again is probably pretty low, but there are obviously many other things as well. And I would just remind everybody that the extent of Trump's lack of knowledge is not really fully understood. I'll give you a non-NATO example, but it occurred after that NATO summit in 2018. We went to visit then Prime Minister Theresa May in Britain at the main meeting, which was at Chequers. The subject of the Russian poisoning of the Skripals, which had occurred only about 2 or 3 months before, came up. And actually it was my British counterpart who said, we explained to the Russians that a chemical weapons attack on a nuclear power is not a good idea. And Trump said to Theresa May, do you have nuclear weapons? We all sort of froze in place at that. But that's I think he does know that Britain has nuclear weapons now. But that's the kind of thing that you shouldn't really assume much about what Trump knows.
Well, Rutte is also a teacher, so that might help. He teaches at a school, so...
I would not act like a teacher toward him, and it was often said that Theresa May treated Trump like a schoolmarm, and I don't think that went very well.